Well, looks like we're going to Tennessee next. I love this radio show, man. We're all over the country in 15 minutes talking to Tim in Tennessee about a hyperthyroid problem. Thanks for holding, Tim. You are live.
Thank you. My daughter, she's 19 years old and started having rapid heart rate. And so she went to the doctor, and they found that she had hyperthyroidism. And to my dismay, they want to put her on a beta blocker to get her heart rate down, which, you know, it's been running between 100 and 130. And then you answered one of my questions before. They want to give her the radioactive iodine for an uptake. And so you were talking about some other tests you would rather do first. And
well, look, so here's the deal. So is it a hypothyroid, underactive, or hyper?
It's actually hypo, it's hyper. It's overactive.
All right, it's an overactive thyroid. And is that definitive diagnosis, or do they think that it's an overactive thyroid? Now they want to prove it with lab work.
They did the lab work, and her thyroid, I don't know what the test is, but it did show that it was running high.
All right, so why do they want to do a radioactive iodine uptake test?
I have no idea.
Exactly. I'll tell you why, because they're trying to pad the bill. That's why. They're trying to look for something else. Dr. Wallach did an expose on this about 3 months ago. There was an article, I think it was somebody at USA Today, of all places, I think, did this research. And they showed that over the last 10 years, all of the extra added diagnostic stuff that MDs are doing, the only person it benefits is the hospital and the bank account of the hospital. And actually, while they've been adding all these extra diagnostic steps, the treatment outcomes have gotten worse. The treatment outcomes have gotten worse. You know, I mean, for goodness sake, if things are going to continue along this line of thought, 10 years from now, here's what's going to happen. You're going to go to a hospital with an illness. Someone at the front door is going to check you in. They're going to scan your insurance card. They're going to put the insurance card into a computer. They're going to stick you into a room with a giant machine. You're going to put your arm in the machine. The machine is going to take blood from your arm, and then it's going to do some computer algorithms, and then it's going to see whether or not you need a CT scan or an X-ray or whatever, and then it's going to wheel you on a conveyor belt to the appropriate diagnostic imaging machine, and then the computer's going to do some more algorithms, and then it's going to wheel you to another room where you're going to do some more diagnostic stuff, and then the computer's going to do some more algorithms, and then it's going to wheel you to the front desk where a machine's going to spit out the drugs that you need. This is how it's going. I mean, this is the ridiculous end of the allopathic reductionistic road. I mean, for goodness sake, enough is enough. Now, you know, look, I'm in favor of figuring everything out so that, you know, we know that there's no cancer in there or whatever, but, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. And when you hear hoofbeats, you think about horses before you think about zebras. So I'm not going to worry about arcane stuff or need to do extracurricular testing. So I would just recommend you tell the doctors to go pound sand, quite frankly, number one.
She did have an ultrasound and came back negative for a tumor. So.
All right, well, that's good. So preceding this event, was there anything stressful or unusual in her life? Like, was she in an automobile accident, or, you know, she's a gymnast and she fell on her neck, or anything like that happen?
No. She was on, is it tetracycline? Is that what the dermatologists give young girls for a little acne problem?
Yes, sir, it is.
And she was on birth control to regulate her menstrual cycles.
You know which one? Was it Yaz?
I have no idea.
Well, that's the first thing you want to check out. So here's what you want to do. You want to find out the specific name of the drugs that she was on. Okay. And you want to do a Google search and look to see whether or not there are known side effects of any of the drugs. Now,
the acne medication, one of the side effects is dizziness, and that's one of the things she was having. So.
Yeah, well, that's different than an overactive thyroid, okay? All right. So if she was on one of the most infamous birth control medicines in the United States is called Yaz, Y-A-Z. It's short for some stupid name. And there are a number of class action lawsuits against the company that made Yaz because women are developing all kinds of side effects as a result of taking the medication. And they're still selling it, even though there are all these class action lawsuits against it. So I would check out specifically the birth control med that she was on, do an internet search and see if hyperthyroidism is a side effect of the drug. Now, if it is, even if it isn't, well, if it is, get a lawyer and, and then once you get $2 million as a settlement, call me up and I'll tell you what kind of car I want you to buy me as a present for turning you on to all this stuff, or what color I want my helicopter painted, okay? And what we're going to do here is support and promote the structure and function of her thyroid gland, because that's just the right thing to do at this point in time. So here's how we're going to do this. Number one, every day you want to have her eat Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, eggplant, or spinach. Every day she has to have one of those foods, because those foods depress thyroid function. So while her thyroid is overactive, if she eats eggplant or cauliflower or broccoli, Brussels sprouts, or spinach, it's going to decrease the thyroid function just by eating food. And you need to wonder why your medical doctor didn't tell you that, right? This is a simple strategy to help ease the burden on her heart from the overactive thyroid. With too many thyroid hormones, she could suppress thyroid hormone production with cruciferous vegetables. Imagine that. So she needs to add the cruciferous vegetables every day to her diet, and she needs to remove 10 foods from her diet every day. And then she needs to take some nutritional supplements, the intention of which is to support and promote the structure and function of her thyroid gland specifically. So there's an oil that she should get manufactured by Longevity. It's an essential oil. It's called myrrh. M like Mary, Y, R-R-H, myrrh. Like, the frankincense and myrrh that the wise men brought, right? Myrrh. Have her put the myrrh oil directly over her thyroid gland 3 times a day. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and once in the evening. She just puts a little dab of the oil directly on the skin over the thyroid gland 3 times a day. Have her do those supplements every day, plus the myrrh oil, plus the diet. Have her do that for 90 days. I would refuse any further diagnostic testing. I would have her take her pulse rate 3 times a day and write it down, and look to see over time if the condition is resolving.